Welcome everybody to today's lesson about the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is used to find zeros of quadratic equations. The quadratic formula is most often used when factoring is not an option. Up to the top right, you can see the quadratic formula. It is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Let's look at an example. The first step to solving the quadratic is to identify a, b, and c. In this problem, a is equal to 6, b is equal to 5, and c is equal to negative 4. Now I need to plug in my values. So x equals negative b, so negative 5, plus or minus the square root of 5 squared minus 4 times a, which is 6, times c, which is negative 4. This is all divided by 2 times a, which in this case is 6. Alright, from here, it's just a matter of simplifying. So, x equals negative 5 plus or minus the square root of 25 minus 4 times 6 times negative 4. When I multiply all those together, I get negative 96. And all that is divided by 12. Now this step is very crucial. I have x equals negative 5 plus or minus the square root, and look here, I've got a negative minus a negative. That means I'm adding. So 25 plus 96 is 121, and again it's all divided by 12. This is nice because 121 is a perfect square, so negative 5 plus or minus 11 over 12. Now, this is where the plus or minus comes in. I'm going to have two situations. One where I add 11, the other where I subtract 11. So watch. I say x equals negative 5 plus 11 divided by 12. Well, negative 5 plus 11 is 6 divided by 12. That's 1/2. So one solution is x equals 1/2. The other solution comes now when I subtract 11. So negative 5 minus 11 divided by 12. X equals negative 16 over 12. And when simplified, that's x equals negative 4/3. There you have it. You just found both solutions to your quadratic.
That was easy.
Let's try another example. Again, the first step is to identify a, b, and c. In this problem, a equals negative 3, b equals 5, and c equals 2. Now I'll plug into the quadratic formula. X equals negative b, so negative 5, plus or minus the square root of 5 squared minus 4 times negative 3 times 2, all divided by 2 times a, which is negative 3. All right, now I simplify. X equals negative 5 plus or minus the square root of 25 minus 4 times negative 3 times 2, that equals negative 24, all divided by negative 6. Again, here's that crucial step. I need to realize that I am subtracting a negative, which means I'm now adding. Boom, boom. So I'm taking the square root of 49 now, and that's all over negative 6. So x equals negative 5 plus or minus 7 over negative 6. Again, here's where I use that plus or minus. I have two situations, one where I add 7, one where I subtract 7. X equals negative 5 plus 7 over 6. Negative 5 plus 7 is 2, so 2 over 6, and x is equal to 1/3. The other situation, where I'm subtracting 7, so negative 5 minus 7 over negative 6. Oops, I made a mistake up here, folks. I should have divided by negative 6, which makes this a negative 1/3. Can never be too careful about those negative signs. All right, simplifying even further, negative 5 minus 7 is negative 12 over negative 6, which we know equals 2. So my two solutions are now x equals 2 and x equals negative 1/3. All right, folks, now it's time for you to try. Let's look at the next example. Pause the video and try solving this quadratic. When you're finished, check your answer. All right, you should have identified your a as 1, your b value as negative 5, and your c value as negative 14. When you plugged in, since b was already negative, I simply have 5 plus or minus the square root of negative 5 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 14 all over 2 times 1. Now I'm simplifying, so 5 plus or minus the square root of 25 minus 56, that's minus a negative 56, all over 2. Again, notice that I'm subtracting a negative, so I should have 5 plus or minus the square root of, boom, boom, 81, all over 2. We all know that the square root of 81 is 9, so x equals 5 plus or minus 9 over 2. Here's where that plus or minus comes in. One situation where I add, one situation where I subtract, so x equals 5 plus 9 over 2. So x equals 14 over 2, and x equals 7. Your other situation where I'm subtracting, I have 5 minus 9 over 2. So x equals negative 4 over 2, and x equals negative 2. There you have it, folks, your two solutions, x equals 7 and x equals negative 2. If you missed any part of that problem, go back and check your work. That's it for today. I hope you know everything there is to know about the quadratic formula. Come to class ready to ask questions if you have them.